Phil Phails, he's on the ocean without any sails, a sinking ship without a pail. Whoa, Phil Phails, Phil Phails. Life ain't always about the sink or swim. Life ain't always about chasing the wind. Whoa, Phil Phails. Welcome to Phil Phails. Today I'm really excited to be with Oscar, Phil Phails at Ecstatic Dance. Oscar is a Mayan Taoist time traveler, and he's going to talk to us today about probably a whole lot of things. I'm really happy to have you here today, Oscar.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can wave to everybody. You're in that camera is going to be yours. Phil Phails 5. The first one is, how would someone fail at ecstatic dance?
When you say actually fails,
Well,
like
remember we discussed it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have a play on words on fail.
Okay.
There's this idea that the binary is success and not starting. I want to take away failure as the other side of the binary.
Okay.
So it's success and not starting, and everything in between is failure or learning. So it'd be like, what? But failure has a little bit of a sting to it, you know?
Yeah, I got an idea.
Yeah. What do you think?
If they come in with an agenda,
Yeah.
and also they come in to perform, because this is a dance, and they're there, performing for somebody, or they have an agenda that they want to impress somebody and get them to get their attention, and also they're there to pick up on somebody, like find somebody for their own whatever they want.
Yeah.
So failing in ecstatic dance is trying to get something for yourself from other people. Because really the ecstatic dance is there for yourself and to find something for you. And we dance from the inside out is really the intention there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's an inner journey. It's an inner dance.
yes.
And so if you show up with some kind of agenda, or I kind of think of if you have effort or some kind of like in picking up on people, maybe dating, those
Right.
type of things. If you're there to meet ladies or meet men,
Right.
it's this external objective as opposed to this inner journey.
Yeah,
Is that true?
it's true. Or somebody that wants to facilitate something different, like they have something they want to promote. And I had somebody like that, and they were going to help the community and da-da-da. And it's like, we want you to be a participant first.
Yeah.
I when I was teaching ecstatic dance to some of the DJs that want to, people that want to learn how to facilitate, is that for me, either I have an audience, I'm serving an audience, or I'm serving participants. Because I don't want to serve an audience. I mean, the music can just get people to move, and it's beautiful music, but they're just like, oh, I love this music, and they're just entranced in the music, but they're not participating.
Yeah.
So I intentionally pick music that invokes that, to be a participant.
Yeah.
Because to be a participant, now you're engaging, and then eventually you'll be somebody that wants to contribute. But if you're just an audience, you're just there, listening, not really engaging. You're just in your own little. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
I want you to be inside, but I don't want you to be just like tranced out and.
Yeah, there's a relationship between you and the music.
Yes.
And through that relationship, there's a benefit.
Mm-hmm. That's part of I think the journey, because most of us are struggling and we're suffering, and so we lock ourselves inside. And you were talking about the neurological process, and for me, the biggest tool that we have is self-worth. And when our self-worth has been diminished or weakened by something, then we're just, that sense of not starting really kicks in, because I'm afraid to do something because I'm going to fail. But it's not even that. I don't even think in that. I'm just like at zero or be minus. I'm at the minus level of being. And we are trapped of our self-worth is so minimal, that we don't have the capacity to even see ourselves doing something, succeeding, much less, succeeding, much less doing it.
So there's something that gets in the way of starting, something that's like holding us back from expression.
Yeah, and since it's self-worth, I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. I see other people having things, but you know what? I'm not worthy either, because I was poor, born poor, or my color or whatever. There's something that tells me this is a reason I don't deserve that. All that everybody else is having, and part of that is also happiness, right?
Yeah.
So I don't deserve all that.
I think of like a self-limiting or self-defeating belief.
It'll just
yeah.
And then you sabotage. Anytime something comes along, something really positive and powerful and this and that, we'll figure out how to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Because there's that underlying subliminal, I don't deserve it.
Yeah. And what we're doing is we're sabotaging ourselves. We're robbing ourselves of a rich experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so the second question is, what is success in ecstatic dance?
The word dance is intimidating in itself, because we believe that I need to learn how to dance. I need to learn the steps. I need to go to a class. And so right there, we're already limiting ourselves by not to participate, because I don't know how to dance. And then the ecstatic dance, what we're trying to impress on people is that you don't need to know how to dance.
Yeah.
I mean, babies, if you watch them, even coming out, they're dancing. They hear music, and the music just invokes something inside them. So it's built into us already. And then I always tell them, when you were being born, you had to dance out of that womb. You had to move and really get going. So that was your first attempt at participating, because the baby has to work to get out of there.
Yeah.
It has to do his part. So we're participating. To succeed in ecstatic dance, we have to get out of our way, out of our mind, of what we think we're supposed to be doing. So the first thing is to just try not to do anything. Allow it to happen, and allow yourself to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the first thing is, that you've heard that saying, dance like nobody's watching. I say dance like nobody's laughing. Because then I don't have shame. Can I inject something in here? Of course,
yeah.
So I don't believe in the devil. I mean, I grew up Catholic, and and bombarded by, if you sin, and you're gonna go to hell, and you're gonna burn for eternity.
Yeah.
I was christened that eternity. Wow, I'm gonna burn for eternity. And if I do right, if I do good, I do by God's word and God's way, I will be in the eternity of award or whatever.
Yeah, heaven.
Right, heaven.
Riches. Yeah.
So the idea of this idea of a devil that is going to punish me because I made God angry, which doesn't make sense to me. Why would the devil punish you? The devil wants you to do things against God. If there is such a thing, that concept of then the devil punishes you for breaking God's laws or whatever.
Oh, man,
instead, I would say, wait, the devil would be like, great,
I love this.
You did what? I'm gonna send you back. I'm gonna give you another life. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna punish you in hell.
I love this because on either side you get rewarded. It's like you're either getting rewarded by God or you're getting rewarded by the devil. But both of them are like, good job.
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing.
But we're not taught that. We're taught that this other being is gonna punish you for pissing off the other entity.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
And that is like, why would they punish you? I mean, they want to reward you. And
right.
So then, I don't believe in the devil, but I believe in demons. And for me, there's the main one is doubt.
Oof. Yeah.
Doubt. And then there's shame.
Oh, God.
Then there's, fear, obviously, but
fear is the mind killer.
But when doubt has started to creep in and start to crack your shell and sleeps in, when you doubt yourself, you're already going, and you're already spiraling downward, and then the shame kicks in, and now that's that self-worth thing.
Yep.
You're literally cutting yourself down into like I'm not worthy, or I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
So the doubt, shame, fear, but then there's other ones. God, I wish I had in my list. But
Oh my goodness. Oscar, I feel these insecurity, doubt, shame. I'm not worthy. I have these, like, I don't even know. I sometimes call them ghosts or shadows. Think of like Jungian shadow work. I think of like some part of me, some ghost inside my mind is whispering, you're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. No one finds you attractive. You're not smart. You don't speak well.
Right.
You're worthless. And all of those, what do? They increase doubt, shame, fear. They're like the people that are on that team. And a part of going with courage and bravery into even this interview with you and into every daily life is turning down the volume of those and turning up the volume of something else. I wonder if ecstatic dance is a pathway to turning up the volume of some of these other angels. If there's demons, what are the angels?
Right, and the angels are, I support myself,
Yeah.
I appreciate myself, and I love myself.
Yes.
And that goes into relationships. When, like me as a man to a woman, if I just say I love you all the time, and of course that's what we do, right? That's the normal thing we always use. We use the word love, and oh yeah, he loves me. But do I show support? Do I show appreciation in my words, in my actions?
Oh yeah.
Because without those two, love means nothing. It's just a hollow word. Just I'm just throwing the word.
Heck yeah.
And so, in return, I need to show myself support, and I need to show myself appreciation, because doubt and shame and that sense of I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
They're there. The demons are there to just jump on what I'm building. So every step that I take, I'll take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
So I'm never getting forward because of those demons.
Yeah.
And support and appreciation can counter that. Those are the 2 most powerful things that I need. It's like 2 hands, right? Support, appreciation, then the love happens.
Yeah.
But I constantly have to say that, man, I appreciate myself, no matter how little I have, no matter how one step I've taken, I gotta take that appreciation. Every little win, right? We need to celebrate every tiny win, because that builds.
I think of gratitude practices as I'm listening to this. I think appreciation and support and gratitude, and then this other thought that came to mind is like where the attention goes, the energy flows, and wherever you put your attention, it's gonna grow. Yeah. And so are we putting our attention on appreciation, on gratitude, on the positive things in life? Are we putting our attention on our doubt and our shame and our fear? Like, where are we putting that attention? And then how is that impacting our outlook, our confidence, our energy level? How does ecstatic dance impact, that gratitude, support, and our energy levels, you think?
Well, I might be jumping forward, but I guess it does, because ecstatic dance kind of mirrors what we do out in the world with relationships or interactions, right? I call them human dynamics. Our human dynamics in the world, whether it's partners or coworkers or my boss, especially we have major human dynamics with the bosses, and so it's all a dance. Everything's a dance. That's what I realized. I was my boss was after me, and then I was pushing back, in a different way. And so then I said, it's just a dance. So then I just started like finding the push pull, and of course he didn't understand it, but it was helping me deal with this interaction. So in ecstatic dance, you're having interactions with other dancers. Now, some people will just dance by themselves. Great. But I think it's a great practice to find, again, you're going to run into some people with agendas.
Yeah.
You know, those who are like, oh, I like her, you know. And so we have there's two choices. I'm going to use a lot of there's either this or that.
Binaries. Yeah.
One is reaction. You can either react or you can respond. And that's always the two choices you have when you run into a situation, when you run into something. Things are always going to show up, right, in life.
Yeah.
So in dance, there's this almost every second or every minute, someone's gonna run into you, or someone's gonna bump into you. You can either react or you can respond.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, don't take it personal.
Responding is don't take it personal.
Well, and you can take it personal too. There's a difference of how you take it personal.
Yeah.
But in reaction, then we because of the demons of doubt, fear, and shame and all that, it turns into anger. Like somebody is attacking me, so I need to react back. But in response, we just, and then that's that Taoism part of me.
Yeah.
To respond is to go with the flow and just, don't take it like personal in the like I'm being attacked kind of personal way. That's what I mean. But this person just, ran into me and then just kind of like laugh at it, or I have another saying, sorry. If you can't laugh at yourself, God can't take you serious. That's a big one that I inherited to myself. I made that up. But that's part of that, right? So, bam, I got to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
Like, oh, or I fell in the middle of the dance, Or I tripped, or I didn't. I mean, that's that. If you're trying to impress others, you're locked into that. I got to be perfect. I got to, and then so then there's that shame if you fail, you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
And shame kicks in. Oh, then now you're in your head like I got to dance. Now you're dancing to do other things other than just be in the dance. So
yeah. Is there some part of it of removing ego when you're in those dances? Is there some part of it that's like getting out of your head and getting into your body? Is that a part of it?
Doing a lot is when I was stationed in Hawaii for 8 years, and I got into a lot of spirituality. That was back in the New Age, back in the 80s, 90s. And I kept hearing that about get out of your ego, like drop the ego, period. But actually, I started to realize, no, I need a healthy ego. You don't want to go to a doctor and he goes, you know what, I may help you. I'm just gonna try stuff, just do this and that, I don't know, this person's not confident as far as he's a doctor, but he's gonna cut up or do stuff or give you medicines to try on your body. And, I mean, do I want to trust that person? I want somebody with a healthy ego that's like, man, I know my stuff. I've studied it. I've worked with a lot of people. I know what works, what doesn't work.
That's that Taoist balance. You want ego in balance. The
Ego
middle
and balance.
way.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Ego and balance, yes.
Yeah. Man, that's a great one.
And so in the dance, the egoisticness of again, if I'm only thinking what I want or what I need, what I want, then I'm interfering with what could happen. The natural, there's so many great gifts about being offered. About even my head, about I have an expectation. Oh, that's another demon.
Expectations.
That was one of the other demons.
Got you.
Expectation. That's a big one because.
Okay. Next question. I want to ask you a couple more questions of the 5.
Okay.
Why do you do this?
I too am. When I got divorced, it just put me in a dark pit, and so coming out of that, but then I mean, I want to serve the greater community with what I have learned in the climbing that mountain and stumbling and and then also to say it's okay to fail. It's okay, it's a lesson. It's not a you didn't fail, or you didn't. It's you because if you take on the I just failed and you stop, then you're not going to progress. So I always say it's what is the lesson there, and learn from it, and then keep moving forward, and then just even if at the risk of failing again, I see embrace those failures, embrace those mistakes.
So the why is serving your community and imparting wisdom, all the wisdom that you've learned through your divorce and through your life. You want to share that wisdom with the community so people can grow and live a happier, healthier life. Is that true?
Yes. But I also want to share one very important lesson. It's about truth. I was thinking about it the other day. There was a question a couple of 4 years ago. What is the most threatening thing to the planet, right? I think they were asking the presidents. And then, of course, at the time, ISIS was kicking everybody's butt. So one side was saying it's these terrorists, and then the other president said, no, it's global warming. It's the biggest threat to our planet, which it is, more or less, right? I now think truth is actually the greatest threat to our planet. And I'll tell you why. To me, truth is personal. And that's huge, just to say that. And how I learned it is because I had all these truths to share, right, with my Mayan, with the ecstatic dance, with other things that I had learned. And I mean, I had all these beautiful things that I wanted to share, truths. Yeah. And then I started to share them. And there's always that some people, you give them, let's say you give them a piece of paper, like, here's some truth. And then they go, oh, thank you. And they walk away. You see them crumble it up and throw it in the trash. Yeah. And then now I'm like, oh, because I have an attachment. That's that demon, attachment. Oh, that's another demon, attachment.
Writing these down.
So expectation and attachment. Attachment is a huge demon.
Yes.
And so I was all hurt, like I'm reacting. I'm like, boom. And then when I finally got this truth is personal, that all these truths are my personal truths. And so when I share them now, when I share truth, and when anybody else shares truth to me, it's just data. It's just words now. The minute it leaves my mouth, the minute I write it down and share it, it is solely words, data.
I think that is really. I put that with this idea that the map is not the territory. There's this thing that exists in between us. There is reality out there that none of us really knows because we have our own map of it. It's like we've got our own mental model, and it's ours and ours alone. And mine involves, a 46-year-old man and parent to 2 daughters, and all my personal experiences, my ghosts, all of those things, my shadows, and all my light, my wonderful things too. And they're very different from everybody's. We have different maps, and none of our own individual maps is the actual territory. Like I could tell you could tell me just what ecstatic dance is like with rich detail. And that would be your truth of ecstatic dance. And it would be so different than what I would experience if I showed up at ecstatic dance. Because no one can be Oscar at ecstatic dance except for Oscar. Is that similar?
Yes. I mean, my sharing of what I'm creating an expectation for you to have when you go. Yeah. And then when you go, you don't have that experience. So now you're questioning like, what was he talking about?
Did Oscar lie to me about ecstatic dance? Where's this epiphany? Where's this?
But if I share it with you and saying, hey, this is what I know and what I experience. Yeah. You're going to have your own experience, and whatever it is, it is truth. It is real.
Yeah, your experience is your truth.
Yeah. I'm giving you a blank. That's the beauty of ecstatic dance is when we do an introduction, an invocation, but when we move them into the dance, I want to give them a blank canvas. Yeah. That they're the painters of this experience. Yeah, I chose the music. I chose the invocation, but after that, again, that's truth is personal. Now I allow you to have your own experience. So you be the painter, and then but you need a blank canvas, right?
Yeah.
If I give you a paint by dots,
Yeah.
is it your experience or is it I'm giving you the experience?
Man, I never have thought of this before. I've actually gone to a handful of ecstatic dances in my life, and I've never thought of ecstatic dance as a divination tool until now. You're choosing the music and the invocation, and what that means to me, what that means to my life, how I make that relevant, and then how I allow that to influence the work that I do on that dance floor, or the work that occurs, as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like what do I work through? What happens to me? How am I changed by that is so personal and so relational to the tarot card or the astrological reading or all these other divination tools. I never thought of that. Does that make sense? Is that
Yes.
Is that relatable?
Right. Because I was watching a thing on the quantum physics 20, 30 years ago or so. I don't know, when they were really discovering quantum physics. And one of the most biggest things they said was that they realized that part of the experiment, they use all the formula for the experiment, but that their thoughts of what could happen became part of the equation.
Yeah.
So they were like, wait a minute, my thoughts actually impact the results?
Yeah, isn't that there's this scientific principle that the act of observing something changes its what is the result of
what
it.
could
I
come
forget
out.
the actual principle, but
Yeah.
I remember that.
So if we think about it, everything we're doing is, it's part of quantum physics, that the mysticism and science is mixing there, it's blending.
Yeah.
Is that my own thoughts have weight, or actually matter,
Yeah. They have an
it's
impact
just like
on
if
the
you
world.
just added water to that mixture. Well,
Yeah.
water is physical, but my thoughts.
Yeah. We impact each other and we impact the environment with our thoughts and our vibe, our aura. I get into this real mystical space, but I agree. Yeah, that's really
You
interesting.
have peppermint, right? I have
yeah.
pets.
Yeah.
And I know if I say, I love you, and they respond, I love you. And they
Yeah.
they're listening to my tone. They're not listening
Right.
to the words.
The nonverbal communication,
Yeah.
the vibe.
The vibe.
Right? You could say, I hate you, peppermint, and then they'll wag the tail and they'll come up and love you.
Yeah.
Because really what you're communicating, it's not about the words matter, but a small amount. I think, what do they say? 90% of communication is nonverbal.
And that's what happens in ecstatic. You just said something, the best thing. Ecstatic dance is nonverbal.
Yeah.
And that's part of the magic of ecstatic dance.
Yeah.
Is we don't get to express what I'm feeling with words. I get to, because if I'm doing this, of course nobody is going to want to dance with me.
Yeah.
But if I'm really in my dance and I'm starting to really glow, because again, we're dancing from the inside out, of course that's going to attract other people to want to be in your space, in your dance.
Yeah.
And the dance could last. Now, if you're attached, you want the dance. If I start dancing with a woman, if I'm attached and I have an now I want her to dance with me for the whole song, and probably
There's only me dance
many
for
songs,
only me.
right?
Yeah.
Now, if she turns around and goes whoop, now because of the
Feel
attack,
sad.
yeah, I'm reacting to my own. I'm disappointed. The shame kicks in.
Yep.
Doubt, like, oh, I'm not good. I'm not tall enough. I'm not good looking. So, if I have attachment and expectations, I'm allowing the other demons, to kick me in the head, in the face, because. But if I'm in there with no expectations and no attachment, a dance could last 5 seconds. It could last, an interaction could last a minute, one song. Man, I've seen people dance for half the dance because they're just gelling. Something's happening. And now again, no attachment that what happens afterwards.
Right.
It all happens inside, and then that's it. I do know a couple from 25 years ago. They had an amazing interaction. He's big,
Big guy.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Would look threatening to most
Yeah.
women. She was this beautiful, average height, everything. They connected. They ran off. They got married. They have kids. They're still together.
Yeah.
I mean, how often does that happen, right? So that's possible.
Yeah.
But that's not, I shouldn't put that expectation every time I have an amazing experience with somebody.
Absolutely.
And just go, oh, thank you for the gift, bless you, and then just leave with that inside of me and just go on. And
Yeah.
if I'm not attached, then I'm just gonna take it for what it's worth and leave it with that.
Yeah.
Don't put any more story on it.
Yeah. Another question. If you had someone that had never been to ecstatic dance and you were going to, share with them, you thought ecstatic dance might be helpful for them, or you wanted them to try it out, what would you say? How would you explain or describe ecstatic dance to a new person that had never experienced it?
Yeah, they're gonna probably be on the side, a little wallflower. I was when I first went the first time, because I saw this intimacy. I'm gonna tell them, you're gonna see all this intimacy, and intimacy is intimidating because it's kind of like you go to the family Smith picnic and you're not a Smith, and they're all just like loving on each other, connecting and doing all this. So again, I feel separate, and I don't feel worthy of. I don't deserve being here because I'm not a family Smith. Yeah, I'm an outsider. That creates that I don't deserve being here because I don't have that label, that badge,
Yeah.
And then I'm not an ecstatic dancer, or I'm not part of this community.
Yeah. It's not your identity.
Yeah, I walked into because I'm seeing all this intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about ecstatic dance. People that have been dancing together for a while, it's just thick intimacy. And so I'm like, can you walk? Do you know how to walk? He goes, yeah. Okay, you don't need to know how to dance. I can't remember. You don't need to know how to dance.
Yeah.
You can walk. Yeah, and just walk around.
Yeah.
That way you're moving, and eventually, I always know which song is gonna get them. I look at my list. I'm like, that's their song. Yeah, because then they start moving. That because it changes, right? Now, there's invincible fingers that come grab your shoulder, and now your shoulder's doing this.
Yeah.
And then your hips, and I go, yeah, and then by the fourth song, now that I got them moving, then they can't. I mean, I swear, you can't help it. The music's designed to make your body move, whether you're thinking or know how to move.
Yeah.
And then it happens. But if I can just get them to walk, I mean, who can't walk, right? I mean,
Yeah.
move around. Okay. And so, I would just tell them, just give them a simple. Don't give them any big, concept.
Yeah. No expectations.
Just one thing. Just walk.
Yeah.
And then once they're in there, it's gonna do it. It's gonna happen because now they're allowing themselves just to be in the experience. If I give them too much to think about, again, they're like, "Oh, I'm not doing it right." When I first started ecstatic dance, there was we used the Gabriel Roth 5 rhythms, right? Which is flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical, and stillness. So that creates the wave.
Flow, staccato,
Chaos, lyrical, and stillness. And I had this one facilitator literally come up to me and tap me on the shoulder and say, "You're not doing staccato." I'm like, I was dancing my own dance. I don't know. Now I'm confused. Now I'm like, so the next dance I'd be running up to somebody, are we in staccato yet? Or are we in chaos?
Yeah.
I'm questioning myself.
Now you're too in the
doubting,
administrative part.
Yeah.
Instead
and then I felt shame. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing the chaos. I'm in shame.
Those demons
I'm
are
not doing it
creeping
right.
in. Yeah,
Again, that failure. I'm failing by that action. So again, as a facilitator, I don't want to create that. I want to give them a blank and permission. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Am I doing it wrong? No. You're moving, right? Okay. That's ecstatic dance.
I get a sense of like jazz. You got these 5 rhythms, you got all these kind of concepts, but when you're out there on the dance floor, when you're creating a playlist, you're guided without rules. You're guided by whether you want to call it spirit, universal consciousness. You were guided by what moves you, your excitement, as opposed to like going back to some rule book and saying like, well, this is going to satisfy the staccato,
Right.
or another. This one's good. This is going to be our, you know.
I mean, I have songs that in my mind this is gonna invoke a staccato, but you can't control what somebody's gonna, because in the song there's so many beats and things happening, and I love picking. Now, if you pick songs that just have a certain, just one dimensional beats, of course, and like that's all you're giving me to work with. I mean, and if I don't do that, then okay, but that's not a real ecstatic dance. Ecstatic dance, you should give a spectrum of sounds and beats and things that everybody's getting to choose to respond to something that they are feeling in their body. Yeah. Again, that truth is personal. This song should just be felt different to everybody. Everybody's filter is different. Yeah. We're all walking around with the same
got our frames
filter.
On. We all got our frame of reference, our.
I mean, then if we do get to that place where our society is that way, wow, we're in trouble because there's no diversity. There's no room for anyway.
Okay, fifth question: how has facilitating ecstatic dance and now teaching people? You're a leader in this community. How has that impacted your life?
Right, because I'm a father too, and I brought something that I learned in the military. I was in Hawaii, and I was managing a clinic, and so I had the private, this young kid, and then I had my specialists. We call them specialists, but they're only like E4s, and it's a tier of ranks, and I said, I got him to inspect. I had my top guys inspect the next guy down, and then that one, and then somebody inspected the private, and then I said, now I want the private to inspect me. Yeah. And I said, don't hold back. If I come in with dirty shoes, we're military. We got to be tip. And then from that point, I learned I don't want to be a leader of subordinates, people just to follow, just to have the mindset I'm always going to be a subordinate. Yeah. Because the great thing about the military, I mean, I hate the concept of going out and having fighting, killing people. Yeah. But I was there to get my college money. Yeah. But then I learned a lot about leadership, and leadership is, I said to myself, I want to be a leader of leaders. Mm-hmm. Treat that private and give them the sense you're not going to be a private forever. So you better start really getting your leadership, learning to become the leader. Yeah. And then I said, and I want to be a father I want to be a parent of parents. So when I talked to my daughter when she was little, I would talk to her like she's not an adult, but like a person. Yeah. I wouldn't talk to her like she's a little girl. Then I'm just treating her like like a little child. Yeah. She's going to be a parent at some point. So everything, parent to parent, leader of a leader. What else? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I brought that into the ecstatic dance as a leader. I want to facilitate participants. I don't want to facilitate audience. Right. And so just by treating them as participants as potential contributors. As facilitators. Because I think the ultimate desire for everybody internal is to contribute. Yeah. We don't know. Sometimes we don't even think that or know that, but we have that desire. Yeah. We want to contribute as some form, no matter how little or big. And so that's what encourages me to how to lead, is not to lead to just boss or be the I love the saying, kill Buddha.
Oh yeah. The saying is, if you see Buddha on the side of the road, kill the Buddha.
Yeah, and the story that I got it from was when this monk had reached the highest trainings and he graduated, and he asked his master or the teacher, what's next? He's ready for the next challenge or the next. He goes, oh, you're done. So what do I do now? Well, now you kill the Buddha. Yeah. which is just saying now you've got to this point of the learning. Again, the truth.
Yeah.
Now the truth is personal.
It's within you.
Now it's you. You don't need the Buddha to lead you anymore. Just now live in
that movement from external referencing of saying I'm a student, I'm a mentee, and now I am the master. Mm-hmm. There is no master above me.
Right.
Where I look for discernment, where I look for the path forward is within myself. Mm-hmm. That's that, I've all of the masters are dead. Yeah,
and so
I
then,
like that.
And so then when I'm teaching now, I'm like, I'm no longer the student, I'm the teacher.
Yeah.
But I need to treat my students as future teachers.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yeah.
To pass that on instead of like, I'm the master, I'm the teacher, and you come to me, you bow,
Yeah.
Well, then I'm not teaching. I think the most powerful tool again is free will. Oh no, the most healing tool is free will, because I notice that sometimes healers or doctors or things, they're helping you to heal. Sorry. You're good. But there's a missing element. It's like that I don't need you anymore. I've got it. No, but it's like, no, you're always gonna need me. You're always gonna, I'm gonna heal you to this point, and then you're gonna need to come back. I actually had somebody say that as a therapist, like somebody had quit, and she's like, man, that's my money. Like, oh, so you're doing this, you're seeing them as the clients as just paying customers. You're not seeing them as, I'm a healer. I want to get you to where you're healed now. You're done.
Yeah.
That should be my goal as a healer.
Absolutely.
Well, but that means I'm invoking free will in you that you don't need. It's just I'm just a crutch. I'm just a until you're strong now, and now throw the crutch away. Kill the Buddha.
Yeah.
Is that healing is free will in this utmost essence, because ultimately we're empowered to say I am God, it says, right? I don't need to follow anything that without this thing I can't be become who I want to become.
Yeah.
Ultimately the tools that we're getting, we're just borrowing and being given by our teachers, by our therapists, by everybody to free us.
Yeah.
Of being dependent. Because that demon attachment is always putting that, oh no, you're gonna need,
you can't do it.
You can't do it by yourself.
Yeah,
you're not good enough yet. Your masters always has more, they're more powerful, more knowledge. They have the ultimate knowledge. Like, oh, you're never gonna get that.
Yeah, I think of the hero's journey, and that journey's inside. It's an inner journey, and we've got all these folks that are helping us along the way, either pointing one direction or the other. But the place where all that happens is in our consciousness or our subconsciousness. Inside of us is where the hero's journey unfolds, and where we learn and grow, and that's beautiful.
So did I answer your fifth question?
I think so. Yeah. So at this point, we'll move to the second part.